Hello, I'm Jean Phelps and I'm the CEO of Encompass Human Services. And my job today is to welcome you to this amazing, wonderful, awesome company that you have chosen to come to work for. Typically, when we do no employee orientation, you actually have the opportunity to sit in a room and meet with me in person, and this is the next best thing that we're able to do for you during this time of the pandemic. But our message is the same, and who we are as an organization remains the same. So I'm going to give you an opportunity today to hear a little bit about who we are as an organization, understand a little bit of the history of this storied organization that you are coming to work for, to give you a sense of where we are right now, and a little bit of the vision of where we're going as a company. So first and foremost, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you as a new employee of Encompass Human Services. We think you've made an awesome decision to come to work for us, and we want to start you out on your Encompass journey by sharing with you a little bit of the history of who we are as an organization. So you have to kind of step into the Wayback Machine to think about what life was like in 1955, which was when Encompass was first formally incorporated. And at that point in time, we were incorporated as the Greater Lowell Association for Retarded Children. Back in 1955, or the early 1950s, there were not the scale and scope of services and supports that we have now. There were no group homes, there were no formalized day services. In fact, there really wasn't anything, and most families who had a family member with a disability or had a child with a disability were strongly encouraged, if not sort of forced, to think about putting their family member into a state-run institution, and to sort of close the book and move on and sort of forget about the fact that you had a family member with a disability. And for our founding families, the families who created the Greater Lowell Association for Retarded Children, their response to that was to flat out reject that notion. What they wanted for their family members was a life that looked like the life that we all have in the community, where you have family and friends and you're able to live your life pretty much doing everything that everybody else does in society. So these families came together to pool their resources, to get strength from each other, to share information, and to begin thinking about how formalized services and supports could be offered to these families and their children, to start them on the journey of a life in the community. I think what's important to know is that there's been an evolution of the organization from that point in 1955, and I'm kind of pleased and proud to tell you that we're sort of engaged in that evolution even now, and as an organization we continue to grow and change. As society evolves, as services and supports to individuals with disabilities evolve, we are as an organization pretty committed to moving with that evolution. So again, stepping back into the mid-1950s, sometime towards the end of the 50s, the beginning of the 1960s, there was sort of a realization that the individuals that were being supported, those kiddos who were part of the Greater Lowell Association for Retarded Children, were growing up, and that the organization was needed to be more than just a place for kids and families. It was going to be a place where people were going to be supported throughout their lifespan. So the name changed to the Greater Lowell Association for Retarded Citizens. Operating under the ARC umbrella. We were one of the first ARCs in the state of Massachusetts, indeed one of the first ARCs in the country. And the role that we played was around information, advocacy, and supporting families to get what they need where they need it. I hope that concept resonates a little bit with you, because that's very much who we are as an organization, even now, 60 plus years later. By the early 1970s, we were operating a formalized day program, and we were opening our first group home in 1971. So we were well on our way at that point in time to becoming the organization that we are today, a very rich, robust organization with a broad range of services and supports for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We continue to grow. We continue to expand our services, expand our reach, really providing a depth and breadth of services across the entire Greater Lowell area. By the mid-1980s, we were sort of, I think, pressing a little bit against the philosophy of just being an ARC and of the advocacy push of the ARC. And a decision was made in the mid-1980s to sort of pivot in terms of who we were as an organization. And our name changed to Lifelinks. And at that point in time, the vision was a little bit more expansive. We were well on our way in terms of the structure of our day services, thinking about day services being much more community focused. We actually refer to our day program as our community center. And we were sort of evolving and changing based on what was sort of current in the field and where the field of human services was going in general. Fast forward to the 2000s, again, still growing and changing, 17 odd group homes, a couple of hundred people being served daily in our day programs, rich and robust family support services. In the mid-2000s, we went back and reaffiliated with the ARC and continued to fulfill our founding family's mission, which was to make sure that we were still going to be there, providing services and supports, and also being the voice for the people who we served and supported, whose voices might not be quite as strong or as loud, and who needed that additional support and advocacy. A lot has happened in the last 5 years. In point of fact, I'm sort of like sometimes astounded by the amount of change that literally the last several years have brought. And I think that is the reason why right now today I'm so excited about you coming into Encompass, because I think we're standing on the precipice of some pretty exciting and new, creative, and really wonderful things, both for the individuals who we support as well as the staff who work here. So in 2019, we merged with Class Incorporated. Class was a sister agency in the Lawrence area that provided primarily employment and day supports to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and also has a very robust adult family care program. And we had talked with Class for a number of years, and it felt good and right at that point in time for the two organizations to come together, to share our resources, and to embark on a journey of growth and strategy for the organization. And the other thing that we very thoughtfully and planfully did was that we were expanding our footprint in terms of the size and scope of services that we were offering. So we were pushing what we were doing here in the Greater Lowell area out beyond the bounds of Greater Lowell into Greater Merrimack Valley. And that's been an amazing and wonderful thing that we have done. It's been, the journey of the merger was awesome. I want to say it concluded, though I guess in many ways it sort of began with the rebranding of what was for a very brief time Lifelinks Class. For a nanosecond, we sort of mushed the two names together to create, as we created the new organization. We rebranded as Encompass a year ago, fall of 2020. Yes, fall of 2020. It just seems like the time goes by so quickly that it's so easy to lose that. So anyhow, we became Encompass Human Services, and we are well on our way toward the next vision, the next iteration of what we're going to be as an organization. As part of that rebranding process, as we merged the two organizations, we took a step back and we went through a strategic planning process to support the work that we're currently doing, as well as to sort of guide us into the future. And that's where you all sort of play a very important role. Because there's three pieces of this that are really important for you as new employees of an organization that you're just coming into, that you're starting to get to know and to sort of feel out, who is this, what is this organization, and what are they all about? We have a very big, bold, extravagant vision for who we are as an organization. Our vision is that we want to be the premier gateway for fulfilling lifelong human services. And that is huge and expansive, and we're not bounding that by geography or time or disability or any of the things that sometimes can sort of get in the way. It's just we want to be the best, and we want to be the place that we want to be the doorway that people come through and are welcomed and are supported where they want to be supported, how they want to be supported, and when they want to be supported. And you have a very important role in that. Underpinning that vision is the mission of the organization. And I think, again, this is the place that, the rubber meets the road in terms of organizations is, do you live up to your mission? Do you fulfill your mission every day? And is the language of your mission something that the people who work in your organization can understand and get their arms around? And our mission is pretty simple. Our mission is to empower the individuals in need of human services to experience full lives in their communities with supports that are innovative, personalized, and valued. And I think the thing that is really, really key here and what's really, really important, and it's kind of, it really is a testament to what our founding families wanted to create 60 some odd years ago, 65, 66 years ago, back in the early 1950s. Those families had that same mission in mind. And actually, we had an occasion not so very long ago to go back in and do an update to our Articles of Organization. And as we looked at the Articles of Organization, we realized that the language that was in the articles that articulates who we are as an organization and what our mission was in 1955, that language still holds true today. And what we did as an organization in 1955, saying that people needed to have full and complete lives of active members of their community, and that the mission of the agency back then was to create those programs and services that were going to help people get there. That's the exact same mission that we have today. So singularly focused on supporting the individual, supporting their families, supporting the service sector that is around that individual to make sure that those services and supports are there throughout their lifetime. So it's really kind of cool that we've been doing this for as long as we have. And then, because we are who we are, and we are Encompass, we are not an organization that sort of, sits back on our heels and goes, hey, look, we've done this merger, we've rebranded, we're great, we're awesome, let's, that we're ready to take on the next challenge. So we have a vision for where we're going as an organization, for the next 10 years or so. More short term, we have a 3-year vision that talks about strategic partnerships and moving forward with other organizations to create opportunities for persons to have that full, rich life in their community. There's one other really hugely important concept and one other piece of information that I want to share with you. I share it with every single new employee who comes through the doors of Encompass. And that is that we've only been successful for the last 66 years because we've been singularly focused on the most important person within this organization. And if we were live and in person, I would ask you this question directly and personally to your face. I would say to you, in your mind, who is the most important person at Encompass Human Services? Occasionally, and it does my ego really, really good, somebody will go, the CEO. And I laugh because, I'd like to think I am the most important person, but in point of fact, in my mind, I'm sort of the least important person, because the most important person at Encompass Human Services is the individual who comes to Encompass Human Services to receive services. If we didn't have those individuals choosing to come through our door, seeking services and supports from us, we wouldn't exist as an organization. We wouldn't be able to fulfill our mission. We wouldn't have the vision that we have, and we wouldn't have a strategy and a plan for the future. So the most important person at Encompass Human Services is the people who we support. So we try every single day to make sure that the decisions that we make and the actions that we take as an organization, as an agency providing services and supports, is with the best interest of those individuals in mind. Begs the question then, who's the second most important person who works at Encompass Human Services, or who's at Encompass Human Services? And that's you guys. You're the people who are connected to those individuals every single day. You're the people who keep this engine running. You're the people who live the mission every single day. We can't do it without you. So there is an integral and important connection between the individuals we support and the work that you do, and the value that you bring to this organization. So I could talk to you forever. I love this organization. This is a really cool and very, very special place. I'm hoping that as you go through your journey as an employee of Encompass Human Services, you sort of catch this bug, that you get this fire in your belly about who we are and what we do, that your connection to the individuals that we support and your passion for the work that we do is stoked by the fact that you are working for Encompass. We refer to employees here as care champions. It was actually something that came out of the merger and the work that we did when we identified our new brand and renamed ourselves. And it was also somewhat born out of the struggles that we were going through as an organization because of the pandemic. And it was very abundantly clear to us that the people who do the work every day, the people who are on the ground, the people who are out in our programs, the people who are supporting people in our day programs, our staff who are working with families and individuals, they are champions every single day. Every single day they're out there telling the stories and supporting the individuals to achieve the goals. And that's a pretty cool thing. So let me say to you again, welcome to Encompass. We think that you've made a pretty good decision to become a care champion working for Encompass Human Services. I wish you the best of luck in your time with us. There's several hundred of you, 300 and some odd of you right now, and there's one of me. And so there's no way I could possibly know who you all are, but when you're out and around and about, and when we're back to being able to see people face to face and live and in person, stop me and introduce yourself and let me know how your experience is being a care champion for Encompass. Again, thanks, best of luck, and congratulations as you begin your journey as an Encompass Care Champion.